and advance the decisions for the country. In the board, Mr. Speaker, I see an opportunity both for the profession to influence leadership. As a doctor, she's technically sound and willing to learn and work with the team, very highly competent medical team that will advance the healthcare system in the country to a higher level. I think through her, I see an opportunity that we shall be able to achieve the universal health coverage. For the other ministers, there are ministers who have been away from their offices. They have been operating from private offices. They do not answer people's phone calls. And I think it's an opportunity for them to rethink about what they are doing and change their standard. But for the president, I repeat, the president has actually destroyed the opposition. He has brought the country into one table where we shall all work together as a team. And with those, I support the committee report. For the lady who was rejected, as a gynecologist, I have a sympathy that I wish she's not rejected. As a woman, as a doctor who looks after the health, welfare of women, that woman is highly qualified. She is Director of Administration in Office Interior. Why should she not be able to perform well at the interview? So I know the president knows when he picked her, and I hope she'll be chosen.
Member for Malava.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also arise to support this report and thank the President for what he has done for this country. In my opinion, these persons who have been nominated actually are competent enough to serve the country. And I would like to urge these particular persons that they should serve the country and particularly help the President. You know, some of the CSS who have been dropped, Mr. Speaker, they could not articulate government policies, government programs, and I would urge these ones, because they are competent enough to ensure that they have done this to assist the President. Mr. Speaker, I want also to specifically appreciate the President for nominating 2 more persons from Western Kenya to serve in his cabinet. This is Oparanya and Mulongo. And we appreciate so much because now we have 3 of them in the cabinet in addition to the Prime Cabinet Secretary. And we support the President, we appreciate the President. It's only that I may also wish to ask Oparanya. He has been outstanding in his performance. When he was Minister for Planning, he did so well. When he was Governor, he was ranked topmost. When he was a Member of Parliament, his CDF was ranked the best in the country. I would urge him, because when it comes to formation of cooperatives in Western Kenya, they are weak. Those cooperatives are not so many in Western Kenya. The people in Western Kenya do not really embrace cooperatives. I would urge him, as he serves the entire country, he also focuses so much on Western Kenya to ensure that he has sensitized the people on the importance of cooperatives. He has sensitized the people on the value of the hustler fund, which many other communities have embraced and really benefiting from it. I want also to urge that the new CSS who have been nominated, they actually consult a lot from the CSS who have been reappointed in the cabinet, because those CSS who are doing so well, and I believe if this can consult them, quite a lot will happen in the country. Mr. Speaker, some of the CSS who have been dropped were so arrogant, and I would urge the present one now, they become down to earth in terms of their service, and they should know their ministries quite well, so that even when they appear before departmental committees, they know what they are talking about, they know what they are presenting before the committee in terms of their ministries. Otherwise, I support this report. Thank you.
Opondo Kaluma.
Honorable Speaker, I thank you very much. Honorable Speaker, before the nomination of the last batch of the nominees herein, I spoke here very passionately about the need for the appointing authority to always comply with the provisions of Article 232 of the Constitution, in particular sub-Article 1, G, H, and I. Honorable Speaker, when I spoke so, I did not know who the president had under consideration. But I was speaking because when you come from Homa Bay across Migori to Nyamira and Kisii, we had only one CS in Machogu formerly. And we had only one PS in Raymond Omolo for Interior and National Security, for whom we had thanked the President. Honorable Speaker, allow me therefore to start by thanking His Excellency the President for not just ensuring ethnic and regional balance, but for remembering minorities living within Luo Nyanza. Honorable Speaker, it is the first time a person from Luo Nyanza region, not necessarily a Luo, has been nominated to be appointed, if this House approves, as the Cabinet Secretary in charge of Treasury. Honorable Speaker, it is also the first time we are having that ministry and also a person in charge of the energy docket, if approved, from that same region.
Yeah, order. Yes, Carol Omondi. Service time.
To profile the Sudanese people as not necessarily Luos.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Karoli is a Suba, and Subas are minorities living within Luo Nyanza. They are not Luos. That is the fact of the matter. And so let me make that very clear. But I'm thanking the President because that appointment is within Luo region. Honorable Speaker, that in addition to the other nominations and of people whose integrity, whose competences we have tested in this House, make me very pleased. I also want to thank the President for nominating the former governor for Kakamega County, which was the best in terms of performance of counties, the Honorable Wycliffe Oparanya and Governor Joe. Honorable Speaker, let me end by thanking, as I thank the President, for appointing the Honorable Murkomen to the Ministry of Sports. You know, we forget Kenyans, but this was our best striker in Bunge Football Club, position 9, and I'm not worried at all that he's going to do very well. Honorable Speaker, having said that, let me make a comment on one thing that is very important. Honorable Speaker, the Committee on Appointments is the most powerful committee of this House. It is a committee chaired by none other than the Speaker of the National Assembly, who is the third in ranking in government. Honorable Speaker, when you look at this list, there are people who have been politicians as MPs, as governors, or have been ministers before having undergone vetting, except only 3. Honorable Speaker, you may therefore forgive those who never appeared to be well composed before the committee. Honorable Speaker, you know Dr. Barasa is my family doctor. I saw her look at you and she was very shaken before the members initially for the first 30 minutes. But you saw how she got composure as the vetting went on. Honorable Speaker, this lady called Stella Soilangat. This lady served as a divisional officer, assistant county commissioner in my area. This lady served as an assistant commissioner, county commissioner in my area. Let us forgive if she appears before you, the Honorable Speaker, with these serious members, Honorable Ichungu, Honorable Junet. Let us not judge her on failure to define one word called femicide and those others. This lady will deliver. And therefore I support this Honorable Speaker, but I'm praying for a rejection or a disapproval of this part and its amendment so that this lady may also be included. Honorable Speaker, in the first Parliament, we rejected Phyllis Kandie, and she performed very well, Malonza. Now it is this lady. What is our issue with the ladies that every vetting, at least some woman must be rejected? Honorable Speaker, I pray this amendment be made. Otherwise, I'm grateful.
DK.
Okay, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I want to set the record straight that I support the report of the Committee on Appointment with reservations on the rejection of Stella Langat. As we have heard, the lady has been a director at the Interior State Department, and the fact that maybe during that day she didn't wake up properly so that she can be able to answer the questions does not necessitate as negating, because I also followed her very closely, and I can tell that she spoke very good English, and she never spoke Kalenjin throughout the interview. So I want to urge this House. That as we support our men and women who will be our cabinet secretaries by tomorrow, let us bring an amendment so that the way we supported CS Malonza, we also seek the indulgence of this House so that we can be able to save this very beautiful soul. Because in our Kalenjin culture, they say that during an initiation ceremony, when a young man or a young woman just comes uninvited and he sees the ceremony, then it follows that she or he has to be initiated. So I also dare say that given that this beautiful lady has seen the ceremony, let us allow her to serve, and from the service, we can determine whether she is able to serve or not. As I finish, I want to support the nominees, especially my chair for PAC, Honorable Mbadi.
Order.
I know
Order, DK. There's a point of order from Wamumbi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want Honorable DK to clarify whether he is supporting the lady because she is beautiful or whether he is supporting her because of her capacity. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I think the lady, I know her, she has a very beautiful brain, she is elegant, and she can perform. So, so as I finish, I know my friend Honorable Mbadi, Chirchir, Honorable Murkomen, and all the other nominees are going to perform wonders. The only thing we urge the CSS, let them avoid opulence as much as possible, because that is one of the issues that the Gen Z raised, and we don't want to see it going forward. Thank you very much. I support the committee's report.
Naisula Lesuda.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do not want to belabor on the points that honorable members have already talked on or talked about. And one of them is what Honorable McLab said, that the CSAs who will be approved by this House will not be serving their communities or their regions or their political parties. Because I wonder where other communities who have never had a cabinet secretary in this country, when they will ever be given an opportunity to show their competence and also suitability to serve. And so the CS nominees, we asked them whether they will serve their communities, and all of them told us no. And so I do not expect the members of parliament in this House to go and hold the CSAs once they're in office hostage. Let the CSAs work for all of us and for all the people of this country. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, I asked Honorable Mbadi the question whether he's a skunk, because the last time he called all the nominees the skunk and he gave the president. He told me, you will judge me whether I am a skunk once I'm in the office according to my work. I want to say and to tell Honorable Mbadi and all the nominees, if this House approve you, Naisula and many people in this House will hold you to account to all the things that you told Kenyans during the vetting process. And so we will do our work as opposition. And I've heard also some people here saying, oh, we are now one in government, there is no opposition. I want to tell you that some of us who are elected in the opposition will do our work. When the government does something good, we will say you have done well. When you have not, we will reject. I also want to call upon Kenyans that please let us also give His Excellency the President time to work. He was elected for 5 years. If you do not like him, please strategize how you will remove him through the constitutional means in 2027. Beat him at the ballot. That is what I also wanted to say. The CSS to do their work, members of parliament to do their work, the president to be given time to do his work. If he fails, we go that route constitutionally. Because if we go the anarchy way, you have seen Khartoum, you've seen Somalia. Even as an opposition member of parliament, I wouldn't want us to go that way. I would want also to say two things, Mr. Speaker. We will hold people like Honorable Kindiki. We have said Professor has done a very good job, but issues of abductions, issues of killing people also has to stop, even in our areas where we come from, Mr. Speaker. Finally, the issue of saying that even if a CS is weak, should be given a strong PS. The PS does not earn double money to do a CS's work and a PS. The CS to do their work of policy, leave.
Member for Murang'a County. Give the mic to Betty Minor. You are switching the mic in the wrong places. Clark, what's the problem?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to support the nominees, but Mr. Speaker, this time round, we have to be very, very clear as Parliament. We have not come to support leaders, to support regional politics and to support regional development, but to support every Kenyan at the national level. Mr. Speaker, we have had a problem of supporting leaders in this nation, and then the retreat in political and regional cocoons, supporting ethnic politics, and it has been a problem to all of us. Mr. Speaker, allow me to single out one Professor Kindiki. In the past, I have not been his great fan, but recently, I am one of his greatest fans. Professor Kindiki expressed a lot of wisdom and a lot of brains when he was doing his interview, Mr. Speaker. Previously, he did a lot of work to support this government, and he has been on record. He's not a regional leader, but he's a national leader. Mr. Speaker, we want to urge that this parliament, we are a national parliament, and we can only support national leaders, but not regional leaders or leaders who want to retreat to village cocoons. So, Mr. Speaker, I rise to support the nominees. Thank you.
Thank you. Makali Mulu.
Yeah, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want also to add my voice to this important debate. And I will say I'm supporting the report, but with a number of reservations. The first one, Honorable Speaker, is the issue of regional balancing. Honorable Speaker, you have heard a number of members saying they don't know whether they will be able, when they will be able to get a cabinet secretary. And it is important that, Honorable Speaker, even as we continue appointing people to this important office, that regional balancing is ensured. And more so, the issue of disability, Honorable Speaker. I was very keen looking at who's been vetted, and I still think as a country, we have a lot to do in the area of disability, Honorable Speaker. For purposes of inclusion, because most Kenyans are saying there's a problem with inclusion, I think it's important to bring these brothers and sisters of ours to some of these senior positions. The other issue, Honorable Speaker, which I want to mention, Honorable Speaker, I've looked at the report very quickly, and the comments by the DPP and the comments by the EACC, Honorable Speaker, to me is a bit worrying. That the DPP comes and says he has no case with a particular nominee, but the EACC says they have an issue. These are departments of the same government. Honorable Speaker, there is no way both of them can be saying the truth. One must be saying the truth, the other one must be lying to Kenyans. And it is important, Honorable Speaker, when these cases come up to a FETI committee like what you are chairing, Honorable Speaker, that we allow time to sort out these issues. Kenyans are not stupid to believe one office and not another one. When the DPP says he has no case to answer, and the ACC says they have a case to answer, it's a problem, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, the other matter is, we have gotten some members of the minority being appointed to the majority. Honorable Speaker, the truth of the matter is, we cannot have the majority being also in the minority. If you decide to be in the majority, please switch from the minority so that we improve oversight of this House. Honorable Speaker, it's not going to make sense to have watchdog committees of this House being chaired by people who claim to be in the minority when we know they are in the majority, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, it is very important that we get these things right. The issue of wealth declaration, Honorable Speaker, I've seen a number of members saying appreciation of property and assets. Honorable Speaker, it is very important that such matters, we do much more work to determine how this wealth changed over such a short time, Honorable Speaker. I was asking myself, if I worked for 30 years and I've made 200
Osoro.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also rise to support the report by the committee. But I also want to single out some few nominees that I observed 1, 2, or 3 things and learned something. Honorable Speaker, the nomination of the Honorable Ali Hassan Joho is an inspiration to so many young people out there who may have lost hope. That it really doesn't matter where you come from, how you scored in the grades that you got in high school. If you persist and persevere, you will achieve your dreams. So, Honorable Speaker, this really should be a great inspiration. And even as I say that, Honorable Speaker, I'll also make on a light note and say those who are actually saying and talking about the opulence on some nominees or some former CSS, who is like the Honorable Onesimus Kipchumba Murkomen. I don't know how you'll talk about the Honorable Ali Hassan Joho, who also has a taste for good things. And this should actually go out there in public, that people should know, and every person outside there should know that you are not poor because somebody else is rich. You can actually learn something from a person instead of actually feeling bad that, okay, you are wearing this shirt or you are having a very expensive watch, you are putting on a very expensive watch because you took my money. Which money? I mean, people should be made to understand that people have got different tastes. There are people who love clothes, attires, there are people who love land, there are people who love big cars, and there are also people who love other forms of excitement and even traveling. So, Honorable Speaker, this was a great inspiration, Honorable Speaker, on Ali Hassan Joho. And number 2, Honorable Speaker, there was also an inspiration for the young people of Mr. Eric Mureithi Muga, a young man that appeared before you and even confessed not to be having a car. You know, he's been able to maneuver through the systems, maneuver through the network, and that clearly shows that your social network is a social net worth. And today, and I believe that when he gets his first salary, he'll be able to acquire himself a car. So this is a great inspiration. And finally, Honorable Speaker, I'm also very excited by the nomination of Mr. Julius Migos Ogamba. Before he appeared before your committee, Honorable Speaker, in the corridors of Parliament, members were saying that ministry possibly required a career educationist. But the confirmation of his performance truly confirmed that this is a person who is competent to what he was actually appointed.
Give him a minute and wind up.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Sorry, I had missed the point that it was 1 minute. So this Julius Migos Ogamba performed very well, and I saw honorable members and even members of the public saying that he exceeded their expectations, being a career advocate of the High Court. That again shows that advocates are all round. They can actually do anything. It can be like you've seen Professor Kithure Kindiki and so many others, Honorable Speaker. So, Honorable Speaker, I really want to support this, and also tell the nominees that once they assume office, not to make themselves some demigods, not to, develop what we call in basic language big heads, by pride and everything. Find a way to relate with every person and serve Kenyans, and this House will keep them in check on every action that they're going to take while serving in office. I support Honorable Speaker. Thank you.
For Bumula.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for this opportunity. And I will start by encouraging my colleagues that our role as members of Parliament is oversight. And we oversight as a House. We don't oversight as part of us. So it's really sickening when some members want to think they are in government or they are not in government. Honorable Speaker, we as a House, ours is to oversight. Not to forget what caused all this is that we had a cabinet that was not able to perform its duties. We had a cabinet that let the president down. We had a cabinet that let Kenyans down. And it gave an opportunity to the president to have a new cabinet, which we hope it's going to help him to serve Kenyans better. Honorable Speaker, we will continue oversighting because it's our responsibility as a House. Some of the colleagues that have joined the cabinet are members of this House. We expect nothing but performance. We expect nothing but good manners. Kenyans expect more, that they perform. They have been here. They know things that have been hurting Kenyans, that they go and perform and do good to Kenyans. That was a wake-up call for all of us, that Kenyans are still angry. I urge the President of the Republic of Kenya to continue doing more in ensuring that every other Kenyan must feel comfortable to live in Kenya, by ensuring that we have regional balance, by ensuring that every Kenya, it doesn't matter where they come from, but they must feel part and parcel of this country. And I want to congratulate my minority leader, Honorable Pio and I want to congratulate Honorable Mbadi. I want to congratulate Honorable Joe. I want to congratulate my big brother, Honorable Paranya, and my sister, the Minister for Health, if we are going to approve them, that I know that they can do a good job. Please don't let Kenyans down. Honorable members, Kenyans out there are still watching us, are still looking at us to ensure that we continue oversighting this government so that we can have a better country for all of us. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I wish them all good. Asanteni.
For Garsen and of Bura. Member for Bura. Give him the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to add my voice onto this very important motion. Honorable Speaker, I want to single out some of the nominees who are before this House today. I want to start by one Honorable Eden Duale, who is a role model to some of us. He was the area member of Parliament for Dujis when I was completing my high school, and we met in this August House while we are both representing our great people. He's a man who has served and who has truly shown his abilities. We are proud of him, and we are sure that he's going to serve the nation as his position as the CS in charge of environment, forestry and mining. I want to also congratulate Honorable John Buddy, who happens to be my chair in Public Accounts Committee. It has never been in doubt his abilities, his skills and expertise in ensuring that he be the driver and steers the country in good direction. I wish him well. I also wish to take this opportunity also to congratulate Ali Hassan Joho, our regional kingpin as well. It is an inspiration to many of us that somebody who got an...
Yes, Betty Maina, as your point of order. Member for Bura, take your seat. Give the... Why are you malfunctioning?
Not here to Mr. Speaker, we are not here to pass regional kingpins. We have been having a problem of passing leaders, and then they retreat to regional politics, regional development, or village cocoons. We are here to pass regional, national leaders. So I want him to withdraw regional kingpin. And apologize on that point, or not on that order, on point of order.
Yes.
Mr. Speaker, I beg to reject and continue with my contribution.
Hold on, Bura.
Mheshimiwa Spika, nataka nimkosoe pia dadangu Mheshimiwa Betty akisema regional kingpin. Huyo ndio yuko ni kingpin, hajasema kuwa hawezi kufanyia kazi Kenya nzima. Atafanyia Wakenya wote, lakini ifahamike Hassan Ali Joho ndio kingpin wa Coast Region na kule North Eastern yote. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Order. Member for Bura, carry on.
Yes, thank you, Honorable Speaker. I wish to conclude my contribution by saying that we support the nominees, and it is in our diversity, our regional background, that our strength lies in that. We are not saying that once somebody is a nominee from a certain area, he serves only that area. He will serve the Republic of Kenya. We are proud of them. We are supporting them. We are wishing them well. And some of the nominees personally interacted. Somebody like the CS for Interior, Cabinet Secretary. His background, being a lawyer, but he has performed exemplary in that docket. He has done well. He has ensured that all the problems within our regionals and our boundaries have been contained. And I wish, and I also want to thank the appointing authority, His Excellency the President, for listening to Kenyans and ensure that he enhances this broad-based government where people are not looked at the lenses of regional and ethnic background, but they are given an opportunity because of the expertise and the skills that they have. I am sure, I don't have any iota of doubt, that all the nominees who have been given those positions, if passed by this House, will serve diligently and will be Kenyans and not regional cocoons and regional kingpins, but will ensure that they have performed. And we are here to support them and wish them well. Thank you, Mr.
Honorable members, before I give the next, I want to acknowledge in the public gallery Ngereriti Secondary School from Konoin, Bomet. Ngererit, yes, from Bomet. On my behalf and on behalf of the House, we welcome the students and their teachers to Parliament. Esther Passaris.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to contribute to the list of CSs that have been recently vetted. I want to commend the committee under your leadership and that of the Deputy Speaker for the good work that you did, for the transparency of having it aired across all media houses, including social media. I note that you know, when the majority leader was speaking, he was saying that for the one that has been not approved, because she is from Rift Valley, then it has to be replaced by Rift Valley. I feel that it has to be replaced by the best person possible for the job. And when we look at the regional balance, we can see that Mount Kenya got the lion's share, Rift Valley had 4, and if you look at Northeastern, they only had 2 or 1. So I think if we want to have a replacement, we're looking for somebody who is the best person for the job, and we're also looking for a balance in terms of the various provinces that we have in the country, so that everyone can feel represented in as far as the original 8 provinces of the country. Mr. Speaker, this country is coming from a very bad place. A lot of people are saying, why did the president bring back the same people? Well, the president didn't really bring back all the same people. He dropped quite a number of the previous CSs, and he's formed a broad-based government. People say that when you have a broad-based government, you're not going to have an opposition. I think all of us, whether in government or in opposition, when we sit in committees to oversight, we all are actually supposed to make sure that the right thing happens and the various government arms actually deliver to the people. I think we've been challenged because of the exposés on corruption. As a House, I think we need to really strengthen the EACC. We need to give them prosecutorial powers. We need to make sure that every person that is coming, the president has given you a chance. Those who've come in for the second time and the new ones, we need to deliver to serve the country. And you can see that the Gen Zs are not sleeping. They want a country that will deliver prosperity to everyone and all Kenya. They want us to go in the right direction. We know we haven't gone in the right direction. So let's team up, all of us, 3 arms of government, and deliver for the people of Kenya the dreams of our forefathers.
Kahangara, member for Limuru.
Member for Larry, thank you.
Sorry, Kahangara. Member for Larry.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. First of all, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And from the onset, I want to say that I'm in support of the report by the committee on appointments. Mr. Speaker, when the president decided to send the ministers home as a result of what we know happened in this country, I am sure that the president, having looked at the ministers or the CSS for that matter for the period of about 1.5 years, he was also just getting ready to do reorganization so that he can be able to get the team that will be able to deliver on the plan that he promised Kenyans. And with that, I want to congratulate him for the CSS, some of them who were reappointed, CSS who we have already seen that they did very, very well in their various ministries. And I can single out ministers, for example, Chilchil, who was in the Ministry of Energy, and he has done very well in terms of electrification within the country. And I'm sure in the next docket, where he's going to be the Minister for Roads, he's also going to work as hard and ensure that areas that have been marginalized, that includes Larry, will be taken care of, and they're going to get the infrastructure that we require. Ministers like Alice Wahome, who has also been able to work in the lands ministry, where, of course, we all know the kind of corruption that has been going on there, the digitization and trying to put up the records in the Ministry of Lands in the right manner. And I think that is going to solve a lot of issues of land problems that we have had, among other ministers who have been working very hard. Mr. Speaker, I'm one person who has been in support of cabinet secretaries coming from the National Assembly or having served as politicians. And in this case, Mr. Speaker, including the president and the deputy, we have 13 members of the cabinet who have gone through the National Assembly. And this is now going to bring some synergy where government policies will be solved, because having been politicians, they know how to communicate to the people. They will be able to take the message to the people on what the government is doing on the ground, and I'm sure they will be able to do a good job. I want to congratulate all of them, wish them well in their various ministries, and ask them that the issues of opulence and service to Kenyans should be across board, where all Kenyans will feel that indeed they belong, and we can see development across board. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Susan Kiamba.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the time to make my contribution to this very important motion. And I think as we look at these nominees, Honorable Speaker, we must look at the back under what backdrop where did we have a second selection of cabinet. I think, in my own opinion, Honorable Speaker, the major challenge we were facing as a country, which the President clearly declared, we had a cabinet that was incompetent. And there was the issue of exclusion, which came out very clearly. Honorable Speaker, as I sit here and listen to the committee report, I just wonder as a specialist in issues, technical and the capacity building, how was the capacity and the competence developed for over 70% of the cabinet in less than a month? So I really feel very, very cheated as a member of parliament with the fact that within less than a month, people did not have competence, 70% of them gained competence. So I really want us to explore the tools. Honorable Speaker, my concern is we need to explore the tools.
Order, Susan. Honorable Susan. Yes, Alicia?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. What begs on my mind is when she's talking about competence. There are two things. There's competencies and competence. What does she mean? Thank you.
Honorable Speaker, I am not apologizing. I'm not an Englishman, neither a woman. I'm a Kamba, and I know he understands his competence. Just to continue, Honorable Speaker, the other point was the issue of inclusion, and in particular, the inclusion was the inclusion for the youth. When we appoint only one youth, seemingly youth, is that an inclusion? I think we are being selfish as adults. And when the youth complain, we are not including them. Especially when we have over 50% of the population of this country being youth. I think it is not. Hello, Mr. Speaker, can you protect me? I can't even contribute because of unnecessary noise. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. When we look at the population of Kenya, we have over 50% youth. When all the old men and whatever, women are few, get all the cabinet slots, are we genuinely? I think that is still exclusion for the youth. I don't see inclusion in that. Secondly, Honorable Speaker.
Order, Susan. There's a point of order from Owen Bayer.
I can agree.
You know, Honorable Speaker, listening to Susan, she says that 80% of the cabinet has no competence, whichever it is, competences or what. Then she comes and tells us that we are being selfish because we did not nominate youth. The youth that, in her words, actually do not have the competence. So that contradiction does not speak for the Kamba community. They have higher competencies than that.
To understand his point, because I stated very clearly, the President declared himself and said he is disbanding the cabinet because he's incompetent. When 70% comes back, it is assumed they have developed competence. I'm just wondering what tools were used to check that competence that within a month came up. I am feeling this was more political manipulation than actually what we are looking for as Kenyans.
Time up. Women rep for Tarakaniti. Okay, give her 1 minute to finish.
Honorable Speaker, and this is among the few dissenting voices which have not been given time. Honorable Speaker, I think I have been into an integrity class, and integrity does not mean the law, you must have been accused in law. Even when people doubt you and what you stand for, matters trust is an integrity issue. We have a case where somebody was accused by ESCC that he was corrupt, and the people brought evidence that there was that. Even that doubt in itself, chapter 6 of our constitution, that person is already disqualified. The last one, what I see is political manipulation of joining numbers of UDA and ODM to get a super majority, but not a genuine concern to to give Kenyans competence. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Go on.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me a chance to contribute to this very important motion. Mr. Speaker, sir, first of all, I want to thank the Committee on Appointment for banning the midnight oil and bringing such
Order. Order. Honorable Susan, when you spoke, you are listened to. Also listen to others. Go on.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for protecting me. I'm thanking the Committee on Appointment for finding time and banning the midnight oil, Mr. Speaker, sir, and bringing to us this list that has been brought to us by Mr. President. Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank the President for considering almost everyone. What I'm finding most in this list is inclusivity. The President considered social class, the President considered the region, the President considered different backgrounds, and Mr. President considered gender and youth. Mr. Speaker, sir, this list shows people with a great integrity. I want to congratulate mostly Professor Kidore Kedeke, a gentleman that I've known for the last over 30 years, since his early childhood, Mr. Speaker, sir. A very selfless man, a very committed man, a very dedicated man, and I wish and pray that even the other nominees, if approved by these honorables, will follow his steps. Mr. Speaker, sir, I also want to congratulate a young man from the farthest corner of Meru region, Eric Moreithi Moga, a humble man that I've known for some time, a young Adventist man from Mwamba, Seventh-day Adventist, Mr. Speaker, having known that Seventh-day religion or Seventh-day denomination is one of the minority denominations in the Eastern region. But Mr. President went and looked into him and considered him for this position, and the Adventists in the entire region in Meru have really appreciated this. Mr. Speaker, sir, I want to agree that we do mistakes occasionally, Mr. Speaker, and I know the entire nation is watching. Whether at executive level, whether at judiciary level, whether the legislative level, Mr. Speaker, sir, we've always done mistakes. I want to say that our God is a God of forgiveness. Is a God that has been giving us chances, not twice, not thrice, not 10 times, Mr. Speaker, sir. We pray that we give our President a second chance by approving this list of nominees, Mr. Speaker, sir. But going forward, the issue of public participation. We are where we are, Mr. Speaker, sir, because public participation in this country is not effective, is not...
Atandi. Atandi.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. And let me begin by supporting the report from the vetting committee. Honorable Speaker, the Constitution says that the Cabinet should reflect regional and ethnic diversity. I want to agree that the nominees that are before us truly reflect the face of Kenya in the area of regional and ethnic diversity. Honorable Speaker, I am one of the people who prodded the President to make certain appointments, and I'm happy that my friend John Badi is going to be the Cabinet Secretary for Treasury. Honorable Speaker, the ministers come from certain regions, but they are not supposed to work only in those regions. Honorable Speaker, the cabinet that is dissolved had some ministers who are notorious for turning their offices into their ethnic enclaves, where if you visit a minister's office, you only find this minister busy with their people from their villages. I want to urge the new ministers who are coming on board that even though you come from a particular region, you must understand that you are going to serve the people of Kenya. Yes. We had one from my region, Honorable Speaker, that every weekend you would find him distributing relief food from each village to the next. And I asked him to ensure that he serves the people of Kenya. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy that that minister has not been retained. So I want to tell the ministers who are coming on board to ensure that they serve the people of Kenya. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, when we talk about opulence and wealth declaration, because Kenyans have said that
the vetting process did not question the nominees about their sources of wealth. They only came and said, I am worth 500 million. Honorable Speaker, I think the biggest question here is for these nominees, because we know most of them. We know how they lived and how they have been living. If tomorrow they begin to live certain life which we don't understand, then we will have to question them, because some of the ministers who have been removed from cabinet today, we knew them. There were people who were just eating omena and madondo with us. But then they began to eat at Serena and to dress expensively. So that is the question that we need to ask as a House. And lastly, Honorable Speaker, we said that the President took some of our members into his cabinet. I want to agree with my party leader that some of the members who are taken from our side are experts. Honorable Speaker, we want the vetting exercise. We watched it live. And Honorable Speaker, I am convinced that the members who came from the ODM party, the 4 of them, they have demonstrated capability, they have shown competence, and I know that they are going to serve the people of Kenya. I want to wish them well as they take over. Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Bowen.
Finally. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to support the committee report. And Mr. Speaker, I want to...
Honorable Bowen, as you speak, members, because of the interest being overwhelming, can I encourage you to speak for 2 minutes? 2 minutes. Starting with Bowen.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity, and I want to start by saying I want to support the committee recommendation, Mr. Speaker, on all the cabinet secretaries, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I want to specifically talk about the Honorable Kindiki, who has really worked hard in Kerio Valley to make sure that we have a peace in Kerio Valley. Though, Mr. Speaker, we still have some challenges of insecurity in Kerio Valley. Mr. Speaker, I want also to thank the Honorable, His Excellency the President, for nominating again or reappointing Murkomen. Mr. Speaker, Murkomen was condemned, Honorable Speaker, and the Ministry of Roads, Mr. Speaker, is the ministry with the highest public debts. It is the ministry with the highest pending bills. Mr. Speaker, it was very difficult, but I want to tell you, Mr. Speaker, he really tried, the Honorable Murkomen. And even as he moves to the sports, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Murkomen, I'm very sure that he's going to excel in that field. Mr. Speaker, I want to also thank the President for nominating my good friend, the Honorable Mbadi. And with all the skills on the Honorable Mbadi has shown, and the experience he has shown even in this House, Mr. Speaker, I'm sure that going to Treasury, he is going to use his knowledge as a serious accountant and expertise in finance, Mr. Speaker, to turn around the economy of this country and to make sure that our economy grows. Mr. Speaker, I want to really talk about the nominee who was rejected. Mr. Speaker, it was very unfortunate. I wish the committee would have shown us the marks. Who scored the highest and why he scored the lowest, Mr. Speaker. Because it was wrong to condemn the lady, Mr. Speaker, because of what UNED said that they were considering about including the physical looks. Mr. Speaker, I hope she was not dropped because of that. So, but anyway, Mr. Speaker, we want to ask His Excellency the President to consider her in another position. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Farah Maalim.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, this cabinet is the most representative, both in terms of form, substance, equity, equality, and diversity since we got independence in this country. Mr. Speaker, I commend the President for looking at the 4 corners of this country and making sure that we are looking for the best. Mr. Speaker, I have been around for quite a long time. I remember the first cabinet of this country, how it was, all the way to the one we have here now. I think this country is better united today and more cohesive with this kind of a cabinet than it has ever been in the history of independent Kenya. Mr. Speaker, I am also confident that these ministers or CSS, cabinet secretaries, will do a good job. And just like that, on a cursory look, I see a number of good people who have done a good job previously, who are again featuring in this. Kindiki, Davis Chirchir, Duale, and many others. And then I also see some very good, powerful, fresh blood like Mbadi. Mbadi has been in the Public Accounts Committee from the days we were in Parliament, me and you here, in the 10th Parliament. So he knows exactly what goes on in... Mr. Speaker, can I have 1 more minute? He knows exactly what happens in Treasury, inside out. And I'm sure he's going to do a very good job. Mr. Speaker, let's give this cabinet space. Let's support them. Let's support our president in this case, because this country has got to be kept together. Those who are running around with all these demonstrations and the rest, I have seen what a failed state.
Done. John Waluke, I added you a minute, yes. Yes. Give him 1 minute.
Thank you.
Give him 1 minute.
Mr. Speaker, I have seen what a failed state is like. People were laughing yesterday, that Bangladesh civilians have gone and taken over the State House. Bangladesh is under military rule today as we talk. It's under military rule, and watch what is going to happen. Mr. Speaker, the same thing that we are seeing here is what was in Sudan. Young students, my daughters went to school in Sudan, going out there and demonstrating and saying revolution, revolution, revolution. What do we have today? 15 million people displaced, over 1 million people dead, and a country that has no hope for the next 30 years. Mr. Speaker, let us save our country. Let us give our president sufficient space. This is the first time we have a president who is willing to reach out to every sector of the society and debate with them. And we are calling him all sorts of names. That's not fair. Let's give him a chance, and let's see how this thing can be pulled out of where we are now, and how we can take our country to the next level of...
John Waluke.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, for giving me a chance also to contribute on this report, committee report, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I want to thank the President for the appointment. It is a national outlook, Honorable Speaker, because every side of the country, Honorable Speaker, at least one person is chosen. And Honorable Speaker, what we want is that these CSS who have been nominated by the President should help him to work closely. At least we are, as a country, Honorable Speaker, we've gone back about 1 year or so because of what happened. And so this Honorable CSS should be very keen. Honorable Speaker, I'm happy with the President appointing Honorable Opio Andai and Honorable Mbadi. They are going to show their competence, because if they fail, Honorable Speaker, they would have failed us as colleagues and a House as well. Honorable Speaker, this country needs unity, all of us at least, to come together. We forget our differences, political differences, so that we help the President to carry on with his mandate that the wananchi gave him, elected him as the President of Kenya. I want to thank even the other side, Honorable Speaker, that we are joining together as a team of this House to make sure that we support this country. Let's put our country first.
Your time is up. Member for Malindi.
Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, nasimama hapa kuunga mkono haya majina yote yenye ambayo yameweza kuteuliwa na Rais William Samoei Ruto ili kuweza kuwa mawaziri katika baraza la mawaziri. Mheshimiwa Spika, tunashukuru pia sisi kama wanawake 5 wameweza kupatiwa nyadhifa kubwa mbalimbali na ni haki yetu sisi kama wanawake ya kusema ya kwamba tunashukuru. Tunashukuru pia vile vile tumeona kijana mmoja ambaye ameteuliwa katika Wizara ya Maji, ambapo tunajua sisi kama vijana pia hili jambo limekwenda kutufurahisha. Mheshimiwa Spika. Mheshimiwa Spika, mimi niko na mambo mawili tu kuambia wale mawaziri ambao wameteuliwa. Jambo la kwanza ni kwamba hatutaki watu wa yesa. Mheshimiwa Spika, tunataka watu ambao wataketi na rais na kuweza kumwelezea rais na kuweza kumsaidia rais kwa sababu ya Kenya iweze kusonga mbele. Mheshimiwa Spika, hawa ni watu wenye ambao watakuwa kwa karibu sana na rais, na wao hawafai kuwa ni watu wa yesa. Wanafaa ni watu ambao wataweza kusaidia hii hali ya Kenya. Mheshimiwa Spika, ni onyo tu Mheshimiwa Spika ya kwamba wale mawaziri wengine wamekuwa ofisini miaka miwili na kwa sababu zisizoepukika wameweza kuachiliwa wengine. Hata wao hivi saizi wajue ya kwamba wanakwenda kupatiwa kazi, lakini Wakenya wako chonjo na wasipofanya kazi yao vizuri, Mheshimiwa Spika, sisi kama Wakenya tunakwenda kuanguka na wao. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Spika.
Mwengi Mutuse.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Allow me from the onset to support the report of the Committee on Appointments as relates to the approval of the 19 CS nominees and the rejection of one of them. Mr. Speaker, particularly as the foremost political leader of the Maendeleo Chap Party, allow me to thank His Excellency the President for retaining our founding party leader, the Honorable Dr. Alfred Mutua, in his second cabinet as the CS for Labor and Social Protection. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, I am too well aware of the role of Parliament under Article 94 of our Constitution, and also particularly the role of the National Assembly under Article 95 of the Constitution. And Mr. Speaker, part of our mandate is to raise the concerns of our people. And I want to particularly address the Cabinet Secretaries whom we are approving today, to tell them that their work is cut out. We are churning out 3 million young people every year into the job market. And these young Kenyans want jobs. It is the role of Cabinet to very urgently create jobs for these young people. And to create those jobs, the economy must grow by double digit. And therefore, you have no time for luxury. The role of Parliament will be to oversight. The role of Parliament will be to make sure that there is no corruption. The role of Parliament will be to make sure that ministers do not enter into comfort zones, sit in their offices, and they do not move around the country doing what they are supposed to do. And we want to encourage them, as they do their job, to also understand that Parliament must do its job so that all of us serve the people of Kenya. With those remarks, Mr. Speaker, I beg to support with the rider that Parliament will do its job so that Kenyans are served, and they are served to the maximum. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Irene Mayaka.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I also stand to, from the get-go, support the report from the committee. And Honorable Speaker, I just want to say that number one, that for these particular nominees, we just want to let them know that yes, some of them have been given a second chance against what the public really wished. And we want them to make sure that they do a good job. Honorable Speaker, I also want to just acknowledge the fact that from our end, we submitted our experts and donated our experts to the President. And I want to wish the Honorable Mbadi, the Honorable Joho, the Honorable Oparanya, and the Honorable Opio the very best. Honorable Speaker, my third point, I also just want to say that the public was witnessed how great the Omogusi community also gave one of our sons, who is a lawyer, but he did show that he can actually be competent in the ministry within which he has been supported. Honorable Speaker, finally, I want to say that as gender, some of us are not blind to gender. And we did see and we support the committee on the rejection of the gender nominee, and we'd like to ask the President to give us another competent nominee. And Honorable Speaker, as has been said before, the gender nominee does not have to be a woman. Even someone like Honorable Wanjala can be a very good minister for gender. And so, Honorable Speaker, we just want to say that we support the competence and we want to have competent people. And just to let the CS nominees know that yes, you have been approved, but if you do not do your work well, we will make sure that we come back here and impeach you. For now, we wish you the best. Thank you.
Honorable Tandaza.
Asante Mheshimiwa Spika kwa kunipa fursa hii. Kwanza niseme kwamba sio mkono peke yake ninaunga, lakini naunga ripoti hii ya kamati pamoja na miguu yangu na kichwa na nywele na macho na kila kitu, kwa sababu hakuna wakati ambayo kamati imeweza kufanya kazi nzuri kama hii, ambapo imetoa ripoti yake bila kushawishiwa na mtu kuona kwamba huyu anafaa, na yule ambao kamati wakaona kwamba haifai wakaweza kutamka kwamba hawafai. Nichukue fursa hii kumshukuru Rais kwa kuweza kumteua tena kwa mara ya pili aliyekuwa waziri mstahiki gavana wa kwanza wa Kwale Salim Mvurya, ambaye katika kazi yake ambayo aliifanya na imani katika zile memoranda ambazo ziliweza kupelekwa hakukuwa na moja ambayo ilikuwa inamkashifu waziri Salim Mvurya. Ukiangalia katika mapato yake, licha ya kuwa amekuwa amehudumu kuwa waziri kwa kipindi karibu miaka miwili, utakuta bado pato lake ni chini ya milioni 200. Hili lilikuwa ni jambo la kushangaza kwa Wakenya, kwani wanajiuliza wakati mawaziri wengine kwa muda huu wameweza kupata zaidi ya milioni 300 na zaidi, mbona yeye bado hajapata hata zaidi ya milioni 100? Na hili ni wazi ya kwamba yeye ni mwadilifu, anafanya kazi kwa kutambua Wakenya, na hilo ndio jukumu la mawaziri. Pia nichukue fursa hii kushukuru kuteuliwa kwa Hassan Joho, ambaye amepatiwa ile wizara ambayo ni changa lakini na matumaini makubwa katika ekonomi ya Kenya. Sio watu wa pwani peke yake ambao wako na bahari Hindi, lakini ina nafasi ya kuajiri na kuleta fedha nyingi katika hii nchi ya Kenya, na na imani kwamba waziri aliyoteuliwa ana tajriba ya kuweza kufufua wizara hiyo na kuleta mapato makubwa. Asante.
Member for Lugari.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I first want to thank the President for finding it fit to pick experts from my party, and especially Honorable Paranya, who is known for being a performer in his work. Mr. Speaker, I want to appreciate the committee. I think in the life of Parliament, the vetting committee did its work very transparently. I've gone through the report. It is very exhaustive on every nominee. And I want to plead with my brothers who feel that the rejected candidate be given a chance, that please, there are better people in that community. There are more competent women in this country. That is not the way to go. The way to go is that Gen Z were asking for good governance. They are asking for competencies. They are asking for people of valor and value. So let us give them those people. Finally, Mr. Speaker, let the cabinet be on notice that as we sit here, we will continue to oversight to ensure that Kenyans.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, also for giving me this opportunity to add my voice on the motion and the debate that is going on. Mr. Speaker, I want first of all to congratulate the committee, the appointment committee, for the good work and extensive work they have done and the extensive report they have produced on this document. And I want to support with reservation on the last nominee who was rejected. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, we want to thank the President as members from the region of Northern Kenya for appointing my former Member of Parliament, Honorable Aden Duele, and there's no doubt about his competency, and all those who are appointed, Honorable Chirchir, Honorable Miano, Honorable Saipan, and Honorable Kindiki. Honorable Kindiki has been said to be one of the performers. However, I have an issue with that as well, because in my region where I come from, I think there is a problem of abduction, and which the Honorable Minister has failed to address. On the objection I have on the report of the rejection of the nominee for Honorable Soy,
Mr. Speaker, having read this report, I feel Soy is one of the most competent persons. I've never met Soy, I don't know her, but I think she's one of the competent people in terms of documents, in terms of integrity. There is no memorandum on her on this bill. The only thing I see that she was judged on was the issue of public speaking, her inability to address her issues, because this cabinet nominee has served in this country. She's only one of the only ministers, nominees, who have served over the last 30 years in many ministries and departments in this country. There is no logic in telling us that the lady does not meet the expectations.
Jeho.